The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. A lot of my discussions have been made recently about the power of speaking positively about yourself, speaking positively about others, and the impact that it has in programming your subconscious mind to orient you towards the results that you want. See, we have choices. We have the ability to look at any situation that we have in our life and ask ourselves, what's the best, most empowering way to look at this particular situation? Today, we have a number of different things that we could work with. We have time, we have our energy, we have our resources, and we have our opportunity cost. Everybody gets 24 hours in a day. That's a given. And resources are more abundant today than ever before. See, we have the power of education, the power of knowledge, the power of wisdom that is shared through countless books, videos, discussions, all available for a very modest investment or free on the internet. You have access to this right now more than ever before. You can take this information, you can take the technology, you can take the code if you're a programmer, you can take whatever you want from the internet right now and create something with it that will be of concrete value for others. And you can build a business around it. You can create additional sources of income. You can grow yourself. You can transform your life to a higher level. You can solve problems. You could do so much with this information that you have. And the resources to support this information is more abundant today than ever before. Now you have your energy. Okay? You have the ability to choose thoughts, physical, mental, and emotional elements to enhance and cultivate more energy. Or you could do things, you can make choices and participate in things that deplete your energy. And finally, you have your opportunity cost. You could either do this or you could do something else. You could listen to this video, pay attention, take notes, and apply this information. Or you could watch something else, something that is maybe negative or depletes your energy and makes you feel disempowered. No more than any other time in history has the abundance, and no other time in any part of history has the abundance of resources and the ability to understand time, energy, and opportunity costs has been available to leverage to creating the results that you want. This is the best time to be alive right now. And you have the ability to choose. And your choices are going to be made based on the programming that you take in. We are a product of our environment. We are a product of the information that we consume and the beliefs that we have within ourselves, our values and beliefs. We're programmed by the external world to believe what we do. We get to a certain point where we become more conscious, we become more aware, and we start to realize that we can program ourselves. We can consciously choose the kind of information that we take in. And we can consciously rewrite the meaning that we can give to different circumstances, situations in our lives. And the meaning that we can give is an empowering meaning, one of positive ideologies or positive beliefs. And we can connect these meanings and these positive beliefs and this positive thinking towards our vision, towards our goals. And when we do this, we start to orient ourselves towards those results, towards the goal. As Earl Nightingale put it, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And he also put it that you become what you think about. Now let's talk about three important elements that I pull from this book to build upon everything that I just gave in this premise. And we're going to go deeper with it because these three areas, I believe, are high leverage for us. Believing in yourself is the most important element. And no one is going to believe in you to the degree that you believe in yourself. In other words, the level of belief that you have within yourself is going to be reflected outwards in the belief that others have for you. Don't wait for others to believe in you. Start to learn to believe in yourself. You have right now the choice to consume information, to practice, to do things, to program yourself to believe in yourself even more. Napoleon Hill dedicated a whole chapter in Think and Grow Rich on the concept of faith. So you have to first believe that you are worthy of your goal. You have to see yourself already in possession of that, what you want to achieve. And once you do that, realize that you start to progressively move forward towards your goal. Everything in your reality is going to start orienting you towards your goal. You have then the opportunity to look at the external world and realize that everything is supporting you. And all you have to do is change the meaning of the various people, circumstances, and situations that occur and give it an empowering meaning, and you'll find that your energy will go up, okay, which is the next point we're going to talk about. And you're going to be more motivated, and you're going to take a lot more bolder action. Okay? It's not just about thinking, it's about the actions you take. However, the actions are a manifestation of the way you think. And most of this thinking is programmed and wired in your subconscious mind. And it's the repetition of this kind of information, empowering people, empowering books, that is going to further build upon the positive thinking and programming in your subconscious mind that is going to get you to automatically manifest the behaviors that is going to influence the environment, which is going to create the results that you want. You have this power, and you have a choice. You can ask yourself, do I want to look around and see what other people are doing, and if it's disempowering belief that that's the only way to do things? Or do I want to find people that have overcome those scenarios in which most people see that there's only negativity? And do I want to trust myself within? Do I want to cultivate the belief within myself that I could tap into an understanding, that I have experienced situations in my past in which nobody believed it, but I believed in myself, and I was able to create that result. And I can do this again and again and again. Are you going to cultivate that kind of belief in yourself? Well, to progressively realize a worthy ideal, to constantly be moving forward towards a worthy ideal, we have to practice cultivating, nurturing beliefs within ourselves. And we do that through the power of positive thinking. Now, the third piece that I want to talk about is how to get people to like you. Because a lot of the results that we're going to have in life is going to be a net result of working with other people in harmony, okay? Having harmonious relationships, harmonious friendships, harmonious business relationships, and so forth. In the last video that I did, which was a 3-hour discussion on money-making secrets of Jay Abraham and other marketing wizards by Mr. X, we talked about so many different business building strategies, proven methodologies. If you don't believe that it's possible, then none of that stuff is going to work for you. If you don't have the energy that you draw from within, because you draw it from within, and if you don't conserve and direct your energy towards a specific worthwhile objective of creating your dream, then you're not going to do those things that we talked about. And number 3, a big thing we talked about in that video, is the power of working with people, dealing with others. If you're selling, and sales is the highest paid profession in the world, you're going to sell to others. If you're going to build a business, then you're going to have clients who are going to buy your products and services. You're dealing with people. You're going to have employees, you're going to have vendors, you're going to have staff. Pretty much all the success you're going to have in life, okay, money success, in which you create value for yourself, is going to be a net result of creating value for others. So we have to focus on these 3 things. Let's go ahead and talk about these 3 important areas. Believing in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Have faith in your abilities. Without a humble but reasonable confidence in your own powers, you cannot be successful or happy. Okay, 2 things. Humble but reasonable confidence. Now, here's the thing. Confidence increases with practice, with awareness, by making a commitment to yourself that you are going to consume the empowering information and you're going to take action towards the things that build your confidence. What are those things? Create a list. Create an inventory of the things that contribute towards building a higher degree of confidence in yourself. It could be something as going and doing some public speaking. Number 2, starting to do more sales, prospecting, connecting with people. Number 3, improving your ability to communicate by participating in various kind of communication programs or seminars. Different kinds of things. Surrounding yourself with people who have a heightened degree of confidence, who operate and navigate the world with confidence. And in the beginning, that might make you feel insecure because they're doing a lot of bold things. But being around them and learning about them and cultivating that ability based on how you see they do it can be huge in developing your self-confidence. Now, at the same time, we're talking about being humble. See, we're not trying to build confidence here to put other people down. We don't want to look at reality as us versus them. Okay, we want to build confidence so we can make our vision happen. We have the ability to create our own vision without resistance. In the discussion that I did on power versus force, you'll realize that in the higher states of consciousness, we come from a place of unconditional love, acceptance, and real reason. Okay, not trying to prove people wrong for the sake of being right, but focusing on what is right. Okay, there's a nuanced variation to that. And this starts with humility, understanding one of the elements from the Kybalion, all truths are half-truths, and that no matter how much you believe a situation to be true on a truth that you have, that you hold rigid to, there's probably a situation where that truth is not valid. So humility and breaking down the ego can be very beneficial to raising your confidence. You see, real confidence does not include an overly inflated ego. Now, we need to be driven. We have to be focused on what we want, and we have to cultivate confidence to be able to achieve it. But we do not want to teeter-totter into a place of arrogance. So belief in yourself and having faith in your abilities comes from a place of core confidence and does not border or does not go into a place of arrogance. Learn to understand people, as Stephen R. Covey said. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. And I like to take it a step further and say, seek to understand. You don't really have to be understood. You just have to be understood by those that can help you move your objective forward. You don't have to be understood by everyone. You don't have to go around arguing to try to change other people's viewpoint. Have faith in yourself and belief in yourself that you're going to make your vision a reality, and it doesn't need to come from a place of force, forcing others and even forcing yourself. With sound confidence, you can succeed. A sense of inferiority and inadequacy interferes with the attainment of your hopes, but self-confidence leads to self-realization and successful achievement. In the discussion that I did on Paramahansa Yogananda's book, The Autobiography of the Yogi, his main concept in there is self-realization, that the answers are within yourself. Okay, think about a time in your life where you dug deep within yourself. You didn't have the support in the external world. There wasn't people around you to help you when you needed the help. But you were able to dig within yourself and you got some insight. And as a result of that insight, you took some action and you got yourself out of whatever negative situation. You started to cultivate the ability to realize and discover that you have far more knowledge than you realize possible. It's there in your subconscious mind. It's there from experiences. And you can tap into this through practice. That's actually how you develop self-confidence, is by learning to rely on yourself. Now, again, referring back to the information I learned from Stephen R. Covey, there's 3 levels. Okay, so number 1 is dependence. You're dependent on others. Now, we all start out life on this journey where we have to be dependent on others to give us basic survival information, fulfill our needs, like our parents and our teachers and our friends and so forth. And then we move into a place of independence. Okay, independence. We learn to become more self-realized. We learn to do things for ourselves. And then we evolve to an even higher level, interdependence, which is what we're going to talk about when we get to how to get people to like you. Because as mentioned earlier, your success is going to be a result of being able to deal harmoniously with other people. Napoleon Hill talks about this in Think and Grow Rich, the mastermind principle, as well as harmonious, pleasing character to develop a pleasing personality. This comes from a place of really understanding interdependence. Now, we evolve to this perspective. Okay? When you're at that perspective of interdependence, you see everybody as a possible collaboration. You don't see competition. As Earl Nightingale puts it, instead of competing, you create. And you create by yourself, and you can work with others to create as well. The greatest secret for eliminating the inferiority complex, which is another term for deep and profound self-doubt, is to fill your mind to overflowing with faith. Okay? This is a very important concept, faith. Again, talked about very extensively in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and for good reason. If you do not have faith in your vision, let's say you have a vision right now, and your vision is extraordinary, and if you go and talk to people about your vision, they'll start to project their doubt into it or whatever. And that is a real test right there. When others communicate about your vision from a place of doubt, do you believe them? You see it as an exercise for your faith. When others communicate doubt about your vision, when you are operating from a place of abundance, from a place of prosperity, in success consciousness, what it does is it fuels you to help you realize that you can create your vision. You transmute any kind of negativity that's given to you or any kind of doubt, and it motivates you towards belief and further faith. Not from a place of resenting them. Okay, not from like, okay, I'm going to prove them wrong. Maybe in the lower states of consciousness that can be valid. However, in higher states of consciousness, no matter what a person says to you, it contributes to, you just transmute it in your mind to, yes, my vision is true. These people are revealing to me where I'm doubting myself. If I adopt their doubts, then I don't have faith. And what I could do is understand their viewpoint. I can understand their opinion. I'll seek to understand them. And by understanding them, I can realize that they're entitled to their own viewpoints, and I'm entitled to my own. And the viewpoints that I choose to have is that which supports my vision. Okay, that's what we're talking about by overflowing with faith. Now, another way that you develop this ability of faith is by consuming information as much as possible that cultivates faith. If you pay attention to disempowering information and you start to believe that disempowering information, you will start to break faith towards your vision. So surround yourself with people, circumstances, and information that is contributing and making you feel uplifted towards your vision. And if you find yourself around disempowering information or people, remember that you have the ability to choose the kind of meaning that you give to whatever the information that is being presented to you. You have a choice. Your conscious mind is the gatekeeper. And when you choose the empowering meaning, that goes into your subconscious mind and further builds upon faith. Feelings of confidence depend upon the type of thoughts that habitually occupy your mind. Think defeat and you are bound to feel defeated. But practice thinking confident thoughts, make it a dominant habit, and you will develop such a strong sense of capacity that regardless of what difficulties arise, you will be able to overcome them. One of the things that happens when you constantly practice what I'm talking about so far, we've discussed, is if you find yourself in a challenging situation, automatically you will look for the opportunity to resolve it. Automatically. And you'll actually find yourself excited when you're in problems. You're going to get stimulated by problems. If you're an entrepreneur and the path of your life is entrepreneurship, then understand something. As an entrepreneur, you are a problem solver. And what you do is you solve problems that exist in the marketplace and you create solutions, product-based, service-based, etc. You solve problems within your company. You help others solve problems. You are a leader. And the better you get at solving problems, the more success you create in your life, the more value you create for others, and the more people will respect you and appreciate you and like you, which is one of the points that we mentioned. And then as a result of that, more and more people will support you on their journey, okay, because they admire the leadership skills that you have and they wish to acquire those skills as well. So it's very important to make sure that your dominant thoughts are that of problem solving. See problems as opportunities. Okay, when I experience something as a problem, I see it as an opportunity. And over the years, I've learned to embrace problems to a higher degree, to a way that is so high that even most people around me do not see the problem that is in front of me as an opportunity. But I have faith in myself, I believe in myself, and I've been there, and I know that I can constantly raise my ability to solve problems. So thus, it's okay if people do not see it as an opportunity, the problem, even if they're rational and they come up with all kinds of logical reasons to validate that it's a problem and it can't be solved. I know that I can figure it out. I have faith because I've done it through practice, year after year after year. This is one of the greatest benefits that being an entrepreneur now for almost 10 years, and even my 10 years in corporate, I've learned. The greatest benefit is that every day I have opportunities and problems, and the more I solve them, the better I get, the more confidence I have, and the higher levels of problems I'm able to solve. My coaching clients and my consulting clients bring me into scenarios where there's such complex problems that they're exhausted, or they feel that their resources have been exhausted because you got time, energy, opportunity costs, and resources to solve the problem. They can't see a solution. And they're always amazed that I'm able to find the solution. And I'm able to do it easily. And they say, look, how do you do it? And so I tell them, I say, look, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a CEO, as an executive, as any person in any organization or any point in life, you are a problem solver. See yourself as a person that gets excited when there's a problem in the macro and the micro, the different elements that make up the whole. Get excited about it, and you'll start to tap into the ability to solve the problem. You'll start to see things that you didn't see before. See, because you're orienting yourself from within. If you see a situation and you see it as a problem and you believe you can't solve it, you're going to look for validating reasons based on confirmation bias as to why you can't solve it. But if you see a situation and it's challenging and you say, that's an opportunity for me to find the solution and I will find the solution, you start to look for ways to solve the problem. This is very profound stuff. Believing yourself is the pinnacle area that we need to work on so that we can make success happen as a result of the abundance of opportunities that we have in today's world. And if you don't realize just how much opportunities we have, watch the video I did on opportunity by Eben Pagan and start to expand your mind and looking at things differently. There's a saying, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. This is a very, very interesting world that we live in. And once you elevate your consciousness, you'll be able to look at reality from a perspective that is so radically altered from a place of disempowerment, evolving to a place of empowerment, that the world will start to look magical. And it's amazing how much power you have to influence the world with your mind. You have the power to influence the world with your mind and your thinking. And as a result of that, you will create things that you never thought possible before, because this is a skill. And you can keep building and building and building this skill. It's very important. The opportunities exist today more than ever before, and the belief in yourself is going to determine how you look at these opportunities and your ability to execute upon them, and the joy and the ease and the bliss of how you go about doing it. Because you can create success from a place of joy, bliss, and ease, or you can create it from a place of frustration and pain. The choice is yours. The tools, the resources, the opportunities exist, so you can create it from a more harmonious and well-being place today than ever before. Now let's talk about having constant energy. Okay, because we have our energy. How we think, we feel has a definite effect on how we actually feel physically. Okay, how we think we feel has a definite effect on how we actually feel physically. If your mind tells you that you are tired, the body mechanism, the nerves, and the muscles accept the fact. Now, I've been experimenting with this for the last year. Okay, I've been observing myself, and I've been removing phrases out of my vocabulary, like I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm stressed. I feel anything that is something that is not cohesive towards the abundance of energy that I have within myself and my ability to draw it out to live the life that I want to live, to do the things I want to do. And just by changing the phraseology around, I find that this year of my life, I have far more energy. I'm able to do far more things than I was ever been able to do in my life. So it's really true that if we think we're tired, no matter how much we want to identify with that thought, if we start to switch it over to, I have an abundance of energy within myself and the ability to draw it out from within me increases every day, and I will do this thing with excitement, with joy, with bliss, with ease, and you start to believe that, subconsciously, you actually start to create that. It's very powerful. So, how you think about how you actually feel physically Very powerful. A lot of people might think, well, I feel tired or I feel exhausted, so therefore it's real. They don't realize that they can change that feeling with their thoughts. The body is designed to produce all needed energy over an amazingly long period of time. If the individual takes response or reasonable care of his body from the standpoint of proper diet, exercise, sleep, no physical abuse, the body will produce and maintain astonishing energy and sustain itself in good health. If he gives similar attention to a well-balanced emotional life, energy will be conserved. If he allows energy leaks caused by hereditary or self-imposed emotional reaction of a debilitating nature, he will be lacking in vital force. The natural state of the individual when body, mind, and spirit work harmoniously is that of a continuous replacement of necessary energy. Again, you become what you think about. Now, if you look around and you're in an environment where most people don't believe this to be so, then understand something: that's the collective consciousness that is reinforcing that particular way of thinking. Now, I get it. This is probably a very rare way of thinking, to believe that you can pull more energy from within by just switching your thoughts around. But that's really how it works, because those that are able to create success to a high degree are actually a small percentage of the population. And they utilize these kinds of tools, which actually we all have access to. It's our way of thinking. And they practice it, and they surround themselves with information and people that support it. And as a result, they're wired. Okay? They're actually wired to believe this. They don't even necessarily talk about it, but they subconsciously do it. They do these things that we're talking about. And the beauty is that you have the power to do it. Now, in What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, we discussed the importance of self-image, as we discussed that in Psycho-Cybernetics. If you haven't watched those videos, I recommend doing it. See, you have a self-image that's within yourself, and it's how you see yourself. If you see yourself as successful, energetic, fit, healthy, prosperous, you're going to automatically gravitate towards doing the necessary things that create that reality for you. You're going to want to and excitingly choose the proper food. You're excited about sleep and exercise and taking care of yourself. You are very aware of different things in your life that might be draining your energy, and you will consciously choose the things that will uplift you. This is based on your self-image. This is why I'm a huge fan of visualization. In my subconscious mind training, I talk about creating self-affirming audios and playing the affirmations over and over again while visualizing and emotionalizing yourself living in that space. Now, this is not new stuff. It's not something that I made up. This is something that is talked about regularly, from Think and Grow Rich to Earl Nightingale to this book right here. You become what you think about. Now, when you think about something and you visualize it and you get emotionally excited about it, you create what Napoleon Hill calls the burning desire. And you start to rewrite your own self-image with that created, constructed self-image you have of yourself. And then you find yourself being interested in different things. Now, this is something that is discussed if you study like transference by Carl Jung, that kind of information. And this goes really deep into it. We actually have the ability to transfer our values, our beliefs over to another person. It's called state transference. Tony Robbins talks about this in his material. Getting yourself in a peak state and transferring that. Okay, maybe that's a large part of what Tony does with others, is he transfers the beliefs, the faith that he has in himself over to others. And that's why those will pay a high six-figure, even seven figures to be coached by Tony. And there's many other coaches and consultants that have this ability. The state transference, okay, the ability to transfer the belief within yourself over to the external world. Why is this so? It's because you're so adamant, not from a place of force, but you know that the stuff that we're talking about here is so real. It is so ingrained in you that that energy just moves out of you, just flows out of you. And then you'll find yourself being energized by being around people like that. So if you want to have more energy, consider being around people who live in this space. Okay, creating friendships, relationships, hiring mentors, coaches, creating organizations, and surrounding yourself with people that operate from this place. It'll rub onto you. Okay, this will be something that will be transferred over to you. On top of you creating this within yourself. because we don't want to rely on people. Remember, interdependence, very important. What you'll notice is that this behaviors that I'm talking about, actually wanting to be around people, choosing the proper diet and exercise, and having a desire to eat healthy foods versus not. Now, I speak from my experience because I've been consistent in my workouts now since 2013 because I went to work on my self-image. When I changed my self-image of how I saw myself in 2013, which is to the vision of the ideal way I wanted to look and feel, automatically I started not missing workouts. Not even through force, just through the excitement of wanting to go to the gym. So all these behaviors that we're talking about here don't need to be forced. It starts with your thinking. And your thinking is rooted in your self-image. And when we change our self-image, and again, we talked about this extensively in psychocybernetics, you start to create your reality from that self-image. This is a reflection of somebody who has deep confidence. Now, think of people that you see as high level of confidence, okay? Have the high level of confidence, people that you know in your life. And if you start to ask some probing questions and you start to dig in and you start to really get into how they see themselves as that confident person. And there's nothing that you can say or do to convince them otherwise. They believe it so much that the confidence and everything that they have in their life is an automatic manifestation. If they're really fit and healthy and glowing and vibrant and so forth, you'll notice them. They'll probably be sleeping well. They've been getting a lot of exercise. They take care of themselves. They do not end up in situations where it drains them. And they don't do it from a place of force. That's just how they see reality. And a lot of times if you ask them, like, well, how do you stay so consistent on your eating? They'll be like, you know what? I actually just choose to eat the healthy stuff. I don't really care to eat the processed food and so forth. The longer I live, the more I am convinced that neither age nor circumstance needs to deprive us of energy and vitality. Now, I'm going to speak to this point from the book from experience because I'm 38 years old and I have far more energy. I'm far more fit than I have ever been in my entire life. And those of you on my Instagram know I posted fitness picture and my communication skills, everything in my life, the abundance I have is far greater than when I was 19 years old. I have more passion. I have more excitement. And the way I got to this point was at a certain point when I hit my early 30s, I started getting information saying, okay, well, this is the time that all these things are going to change. And it was all disempowering information. And there was people around me validating that disempowering information. And then I made a choice to myself because I realized how this stuff works because it created business success in my life. You become what you think about had evolved my life. I said, I can switch my thinking around age. And Napoleon Hill also mentioned this in Think and Grow Rich, is that one of the fears is fear of old age. And you can start to switch it around. And I started to believe the empowering beliefs that my energy, my vitality, my fitness, everything gets better and better with age. I have way more fun. I do not see it as like, okay, because I'm 38, I got to act a certain way. I choose to act, behave, do things the way I want to do it based on how I want to live my life. And that's a choice that I make. And then I started to constantly be feeding the supporting information with that. And interestingly enough, I found myself operating from that perspective. I no longer have any disempowering ideologies and beliefs or any kind of conversations with people that go into, like, even bring up the fact about age. I hang out with people who are in all different age groups. I have friends in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and every one of them, every last one of them, does not get self-conscious around me about their age because it's the energy that I bring. And that's very interesting because what you believe, how you believe yourself to be, is going to attract certain people, circumstances, and situations in your life that's going to validate that. So might as well switch it over to seeing yourself from the perspective of, I get healthier with each year that goes by. Okay, we're almost at the end of 2018 and we're all going to be 1 year older. 2019 needs to be the best year of your life. 2018 is the best year of my life. 2017 for me was far greater than 2016. And 2019 is going to be the best year of my life because I believe it. And it's not even like trying to force it. I'm already attracting the various opportunities, segues, information that I'm putting into place to make it so. So we have choices. When we think a certain way, and one of the big ones is age, when we think from an empowering perspective, we start to realize that age is actually a blessing. You get wiser, you get more knowledge, you have more experience, you have more success, and you have greater abilities. And that keeps going up higher and higher and higher. So it's beautiful to get older every single year because of the benefits and the opportunities that wait as a result. To live with constant energy it is important to get your emotional faults corrected. See, a lot of this stuff, when we're thinking about things a certain way that's disempowering, it starts to emotionally drain us. Okay? And any disempowering thought you have starts to prickle, like create this little piercing in your psyche, and it leaks out this emotional energy. And what we want to do is we want to find these elements where we're having these disempowering thoughts and realize that any of these disempowering thoughts are going to drain us, and we want to redirect our energy towards a specific worthwhile ideal. And this different experiences that we're having in our life that's draining us is robbing us of the opportunity to direct it towards a specific worthwhile objective. Now, and we have tons of opportunity to be able to do this. Most of us can sit down and create an inventory list of all the areas in our lives where we are being drained of energy, emotional energy. In the areas of relationships, friendships, business, our work environment, everything. Okay, there's tons of these opportunities. And I say them as opportunities because, again, we don't want to look at it as problems. These are opportunities to optimize ourselves. Tons of them. Every single person, including myself, can sit down and create a list of areas where we can find more drainages of energy. And we can change those situations around. We have to first, A, believe it's possible. And number two, we have to value ourselves enough. Okay, the self-image has to be one of self-love, self-faith, trust in ourselves, and believing that we're worth it. Okay, we're worth it. You are worth taking inventory of your life to see what's draining you of your energy. And you are worth putting systems, changing things around, changing the way you look at things so that you don't lose that energy. Okay, that's why I'm a huge fan of minimalism, because in minimalism, it's not about just owning less stuff. To me, it resides in the realm of physical, mental, and emotional. And I do not want anything in my life that drains me of energy if I have control over it. I'm going to go in there and change it. And what I found is that I have control over everything that drains my energy. Everything. I can go in there and change it. And when I change it into one that actually feeds me energy by either changing my perspective around or letting go, okay, watch the discussion I did on letting go by David Hawkins, I have far more energy, and this is the reason why. Okay, this is the pragmatic reason why I have more energy now than ever before, because I do not have the elements in my life that were draining me the energy that's so valuable. Okay, you have your time, your energy, your resources, and your opportunity costs. You need to value your energy. I don't have those drainages anymore, and as a result, I have so much energy. And I'm tapping into even more energy every day. That's what I'm noticing. To live with constant energy, it is important to get your emotional faults corrected. Always think about that. And finally, how to get people to like you. See, if you work on your self-image and you see yourself as a likable person, you conserve your energy so you can redirect your energy towards the opportunity cost that cultivates that self that you see yourself by doing the actions that produce the results, by developing the capabilities that produce the results of creating that self-image into physical reality. And you realize that you have 24 hours a day to do this, 7 days a week. You conserve that energy and you redirect that energy. You build more energy within. You redirect it towards a specific worthwhile objective, as Earl Nightingale puts it. Then what you're going to notice is that you're going to start to change. You're going to start to grow. And as mentioned, people are going to play a huge role in our ability to create success. We have to work with others. We have to deal with others to some degree. Some might have to deal more with others, and some might have to deal less with others. But the important thing is we can learn how to be harmonious with other people. Now, built on the foundation of everything we talked about, let's talk about positive thinking, because state transference, I brought it up for a reason. How you feel, people are going to feel. You might think that it's them, but when you level your consciousness up, you're going to realize that you are the cause. You are creating them to feel that way. And if you believe in feeling a certain way and you like feeling that way, what you're going to find is either there are going to be people around you that mirror that, or you're going to not be around those people because they're just whatever, not in that space. But you'll find yourself automatically in front of the people that mirror it, or you'll level them up to that experience. Okay, you can take somebody that maybe was having a bad day, but because you're very positive, they're around you and all of a sudden they feel uplifted in that moment, which is a great service. You're transferring that positive state onto them. And if for some reason they absolutely do not want to subconsciously or consciously feel that way that you are feeling, which is of high energy, faith, empowerment, belief, they're just not going to be around you. It just won't. It won't mix. Essentially, getting people to like you is merely the other side of liking them. One of the most popular men who lived in the United States within the lifetime of most of us was the late Will Rogers. His book was obviously written a while back. One of the most characteristic statements he's ever made was, "I never met a man I didn't like." Now think about that for a moment. State transference, you become what you think about, and he's saying, "I never met a man I didn't like." One of the things that I cultivated over the years is to be able to look at each person that I come across every day, every single person, and find appreciation for them. And in the beginning, this seemed kind of weird because nobody ever talks about doing this kind of thing. Everybody thinks, okay, you either like these people or you dislike these people, and these people are on your side, and these people are enemies, and so forth. I had to take a more polarizing stance on it, and I said, what if I come from a place of really liking and appreciating and valuing everybody that I come across with? Now, as a result of that, my whole reality started to change. And it took practice, and over time I got better and better at it. And I find myself being a lot more pleasant. Everywhere I go, I talk with people. If I'm in the elevator, I'm connecting with people, and everybody responds favorably. I've noticed this. There was a time in my life where people seemed kind of cold and standoffish, but now everybody seems really positive. Most of the time, they respond very positively and favorably. And if they don't respond like that, they usually, make a little tiny small talk and so forth. And that's okay because, as mentioned, you can't get everybody to feel that positive, empowered feeling. You got to let people be because maybe they're having a bad day or so forth. But it's very powerful to adopt this, to make this your modus operandi, to see yourself as never meeting anyone that you don't like. It's really powerful. Because how you feel, they feel, even to a nuanced degree. If you connect with somebody, and you're like, well, I've been trying to connect with this person and I just can't get them to like me, it's probably because there's an aspect within yourself that you're projecting onto that other person. They're feeling it and they're mirroring it back to you. I have helped you to be your best self, and therefore you appreciate what I've done. You are grateful to me. You like me for it. That's an important statement from the book. I have helped you to be your best self. Now, think about this for a moment. Everywhere we go, what we want to do, and we talk about entrepreneurship and business, is to subconsciously project that we see the person as excellent, as amazing, and that we are contributing to them. Okay, subconsciously, we are adding to how they feel to a higher degree. We are empowering them. And then you don't have to try to do it. Then the words just flow out of you and you're just like that. And everyone will say, well, this person's, you're really charming, you're really charismatic, you're really fun to be around. I like being around you. I have a great time when I'm with you. I feel great when I'm around you. That's the stuff you're going to hear when you adopt the principle of always having a genuine desire to bring out the best in every person that you meet. Okay, not just select group of people, every person. And to just not throw your judgment of what you think is best for them, but just the feeling of, I want what's best for them. And then observed as subconsciously your behaviors and the words manifest, so you're always saying the right thing. Whomever you help to build up and become a better, stronger, finer person will give you his undying devotion. Build up as many people as you can. Do it unselfishly. Do it because you like them and because you see possibilities in them. Do this and you will never lack for friends. Okay, so one of the things that I continue to practice is this, what I'm talking about. And as a result of it, I've created far more friendships, deeper relationships, deeper connections with really amazing, extraordinary people who are the same way, who are from the place of growth, contribution, creating value for others. And they love this stuff. Okay, and this starts from within myself. What I've created in myself, every one of you can create for yourself. You don't have to do it exactly like how I did it, but you have the opportunity to do it, and it starts within yourself. Cultivate the quality of being interesting so that people will want to be with you and get something of stimulating value from their association with you. Now, here's something that I learned. If you want to be the most interesting person, be the most interested. Okay, do you see the premise of what we're talking about here? Is that your entire external world is a reflection of your internal state. How you believe reality to work is being projected outwards, and it's attracting to you, and it's giving meaning to the different kinds of experiences that you have. And the meaning that you are giving to those experiences is going back into your subconscious mind and either creating more of it or reorienting yourself towards what you consciously or subconsciously want to create as a result of the meaning. That being said, your external world is a reflection of your internal world. So if you want to be interesting, you have to genuinely be interested in other people. And I say this a lot. You can always find with everybody that you connect with, and I love connecting with a broad spectrum of people, something about them that is so fascinating that you can get so compelled into what that is that they're interested in. And here's the trick. If you genuinely want to be interested in someone, realize that everybody is actually teaching you about yourself. Number one. Number two is that what they're interested in is similar to something that you're interested in. And if somebody's interested in mathematics and you're interested in sales, you can see the connects. You can find the connects. They could teach you something about math that can actually help you with sales because there's a ton of elements when it comes to sales, when it comes to numbers. If somebody's interested in arts, but you're interested in business, you could learn about how they appreciate art. You can learn about the nuances that are experienced through the appreciation of art. And you can realize that a lot of communication, a lot of things you do in business involve artistic elements. Okay, think about Apple, for example. A large part of the Apple products is certain artistic elements. And Steve Jobs talked about it in his commencement speech, that art was a big part of his influence. So learning to value things that you might not necessarily value consciously, but when you connect with someone, they value it and be interested in them, will help you gain more insights and perspectives in benefiting yourself and creating your reality. And it'll improve their lives. They'll feel it. They'll know you're interested in them, and they'll start to appreciate you. They'll start to like you. Practice liking people until you learn to do so genuinely. Okay, this is a skill like with everything we talk about. This is a skill. If you don't like understanding people, practice liking people. Practice understanding them until, with repetition, you will learn to do so genuinely. And that's where the real magic happens. That's when people will be drawn to you. Remember what Will Rogers said, I never met a person I didn't like. Try to be that way. Never miss an opportunity to say a word of congratulations upon anyone's achievement or express sympathy in sorrow or disappointment. Don't be egotistical. Guard against giving the impression that you know it all. Be natural and normally humble. So we tend to like people that are open-minded while having specific vision, purpose-driven initiatives. Okay? You can be both. You don't have to be one or the other. One or the other is actually not as evolved as your ability to hold two polarizing thoughts in your mind, which is, again, from the Kybalion. See, if you can hold two polarizing thoughts in your mind, then you are at a higher state of consciousness, and we should evolve ourselves to that level. Why? Because we have to value nuanced variation. Because existing between the two poles are nuanced variations. The answer is it depends, and the answer could be one of those nuanced variations. If you do this, you are able to find opportunity where others see problems because people see either this or that. You value nuanced variations, so you're able to see solutions in the nuanced variations because. Now, in order to evaluate yourself, gauge yourself, and litmus to see if you're operating from a perspective of embracing nuanced variation, as well as the complexities that exist. Because we live in a complex world, and that's a beautiful thing. The complexity creates even more opportunity. And the world's just going to keep getting more complex. And that's a beautiful thing because when you learn how to deal with the complexity, you learn how to create results with the complexity rather than being overwhelmed by it. Robert Greene talks about this in Mastery. And the way we do this is by not being egotistical and taking one side, by keeping an open mind, genuinely, while also, again, moving forward towards our vision. Understand people. Okay, seek to understand people. Everyone is teaching you about yourself. Once you have a vision, you have it in your mind of what you want to create. When you have a self-image and you cultivate and create that self-image and you nurture that self-image, then the environment starts to look different. You start to realize that everything and everyone is helping you move towards your vision. Then you become more open-minded and you start to accept people even more. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want a copy of the mind map, the link is in the description. This has been a discussion on one of my favorite books, The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.